Your advice to authors around, I guess, grabbing people in those first few pages, regardless of genre?
Right. And that's not even a new thing. That's always been true. Before we had ebooks, we went into bookstores and we picked up books and we looked at them. We read a couple of pages here. We flipped through. We read a couple of pages more. And if it didn't grab us, we put it back on the shelf. So it's always been true. The really powerful hook that has been always true of genre has become more and more these days that you have to do it in general. But what you do with your hook a lot of times is don't write it first. Go ahead and, write something for a hook, but don't get yourself attached to it because a lot of times that's your backstory. So you start writing and you think the way this character got into this nightmare is they were born. And so you start writing and you write and you write and you write that stuff. That's not necessarily going to hook a reader. It used to. In the, in the 1700s, yeah, people go, oh, Moll Flanders was born. That's fascinating. Now, nobody cares. So you write that for yourself because you have to know who this character is and you have to know how they got into this situation, what the forces were acting on their lives before they knew. But what you want for your hook is the point at which this character could no longer get out of eventually facing that climax. There was a point at which these forces were acting on them, but they could still get out. They could choose something else. But at a certain point, they made a choice that put them on a path where they could no longer get out. They were committed to heading in that direction. And it was a big decision. Excuse me. And it was, you want it to be an event. They made a decision about an event, something that really shook up their world, that changed their life. And that's your hook. So you won't necessarily know what that is until you've written maybe a first draft. I mean, really, the hook is so important, but it is not necessarily the first thing that comes to you. And that's the biggest thing you can really do, aside from not knowing what your climax is, to wreck your book, is to start it someplace other than the hook. And then people want to put the backstory in first, and you don't. You go with the really important thing, and then you can put in, say, now these are the forces that were acting on them that forced them into this decision. You can put that in at chapter 2 or 3, and then you go back to your story. Now, what happened after they made that decision? Well, then they were in really hot water. And then you keep going from there.